What's up, kid? Today, I'm going to go on a rant about the new season of Loki. And they're barely on the second episode, but I can't get over it. And I love what I'm watching with Loki on season 2. But first, I'm going to go on, because this video will have some red pills. And I got to start off. Let me tell you like some stories and some examples. Then I'll get to talking about Loki and Sylvie, because that's the main thing I wanted to talk about: Loki and Sylvie and their relationship. Guys, have you ever noticed that really needy women always think that you're hitting on them? I mean, it's bad enough that social media gave them like this crazy ego, but like the neediest women always think you're hitting on them, even though you're clearly not. And I'm going to give you an example and a story. A few years ago, when I was trucking, I was somewhere up northeast. I was like about somewhere around Vermont or somewhere or other. And it was me and like this other trucker as a guy, and then there was this female trucker. And there's a lot of camaraderie in trucking. Like if you see someone that's like struggling, you'll help them out, especially if they're like reversing, because we're all basically fighting the same fight. We're all away from home. We would rather be somewhere else, but this is like our occupation. So clearly, it was this woman's like rookie year, and she thought that we were hitting on her when clearly, if we didn't help her reverse the trailer into the parking space, she was going to cause all sorts of damage, like financially and possibly even injure herself. But she just wasn't listening to us. So, because she wasn't listening to us, the other guy, he would just give like, he would be like signaling and waving her over with his hands and stuff. Me, I was on the other side, her blind side. Like she couldn't see me, so I would honk. Like I would honk the air horn to let her know, like, stop, you're gonna crash into something. Because she was so hard headed and wasn't listening, that took almost a half an hour. What should have taken like minutes for a rookie took her almost a half an hour. And then we both went to go try to tell her, like, basically what she was doing right and wrong. And she just got her phone out and pretended she wasn't listening to us because she thought we were hitting on her. We really weren't. And after a while, we noticed she's just going to completely ignore us. We both just walked away and just let her destroy herself on her own terms. Like, all right, so there's an example. And then, like a month later, I bump into her again somewhere else. And this time, she's trying to act like all friendly with me and telling me all this other stuff, trying to be all friendly with me. And I did the same thing she did. I just completely ignored her and acted like she wasn't saying a single word. Because now all of a sudden she realizes like we were just trying to help her, and now she's asking for help. She's asking for somebody to be patient. Uh-uh. That's not how it works, pal. But keep in mind, listen to what I just said. They always come back acting like nothing happened. That's a key part of that example. Now I'm about to tell you a different story. Let me just try to remember it correctly. This happened like a long time ago. So in my early 20s, when all this dating app stuff was just around the corner, it was starting to like happen and evolve and just become a thing. I was doing security, and I forget how, but I go into this one restaurant and I see this one girl there that I used to go to high school with, and she's got her boyfriend. They're both working there, and they were all nice to me. Like, it was pretty cool just to see them, and I forget how, but I guess like she brought it up. She's like, "Hey, my sister got divorced, and I guess she thought I was a good guy, so she's like, you should ask my sister out because I'm tired of just seeing her burn out all day. She should be trying to get happy again." And her and her boyfriend were talking to me for a while and telling me like why I should do this. And all right, I see why. Why not? And they gave me a warning. They said we should just let you know right now. She's really, really needy. And it stood out. And I'm like, well, can't be that bad, could it? Oof. Like I said, needy women take everything the wrong way. It's like you're not hitting on them, and it's like me. I try to smile at women because I've never been to jail, but I know that I'm one of those Mexicans who just always looks angry, even though I'm not. But I swear I've never been to jail. And I at least like smile at women like out of common courtesy, just to show them like I'm not angry or nothing. I'm just focused on something else at the time. And um, well, somehow or another, this girl's sister started texting me while I was at work or I was finishing up or something or other. And she invited me to I guess to go eat breakfast at some restaurant or something. She was like, yeah, just meet me here. And I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, yeah, I just got off work. And we maybe talked for 20 minutes or something. But like I said, I was new. I didn't know what all this dating app crap was, I was completely oblivious to it. But basically, that's how she was treating it. Like, she was leading me on just so when I get there, it gave her some kind of cheesy ego boost. All right, cool. No big deal. Yeah, she completely flaked on me. Stood me up, whatever the hell. And a couple days later, I bumped into her sister and her sister's boyfriend, and I don't know what the hell I said or what. This time they were singing a whole different tune. None of that stuff added up to anything. It was just weird. But yeah, basically needy women needy women are always expecting all this attention and all this other unhealthy needy stuff. Like, enough is never enough with them. Just isn't. They're always going to want all this affection. They're always going to want all this attention from you. And let's say, like I said, if you give them anything, it's not enough. They want more and more and more and more. Needy people will just drain you like that if you spend a day with them. And that's all I want to say about that stupid story. Nothing happened. Nothing at all happened. And then a little while later, like a month or two later, I bumped into that girl with some other dude, and I guess she was trying to make me jealous, and it didn't even work. I didn't care. And that drove her even more angry. But for that whole time, I guess because she realized I didn't care, that none of her little tactics worked on me, for a while there, all of her friends, and they would bump into me somewhere, and they'd just be shooting me dirty looks, they're shooting me dirty looks like, she's all attached to you. Like, what do you want me to do about it? It's like, I'm a grown-ass man. If she talks to me like a human, let alone like an adult, then I might treat her like one. I'm not just going to be I'm too old to like chase after some girl. It's like, who the hell does that? Maybe when you're like a teenager or something. All right, now I'm going to talk about Loki and Sylvie's relationship. Mm-hmm. So, first I'm going to talk about the comics, then I'm going to talk about the Loki show. Now, there's just two things I got to talk about the comics. In the comics, Thor is like 1,500 years old or so, give or take. And the older he gets, the more powerful he gets. They kind of implied that in the movies, in the MCU. But they didn't really actually say too much. But, you know what I'm saying? They kind of like hinted at it. And then, so I'm guessing that Loki is around that age. Or he could be. It's possible. Another thing about the comics, in the comics, Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, her and her twin brother, the Quicksilver, those are Magneto's twins, right? Those are Magneto's kids. But in the comics, those two twins, they sleep with each other. And I think they even call it twincest. And that's like this controversial thing they do in the comics. I guess that's why they had to like kill off Quicksilver and not try to keep Quicksilver away from Wanda as much as possible, like in the MCU. But that's just one of those like storylines they use in the comics. I love the Loki show for a lot of reasons. The Loki is like Disney's version of The Matrix. It's like a ripoff of The Matrix and Doctor Who. And they just pulled it off. Like the way all the NPCs act, like they're making fun of like Doctor Who and like Star Trek, like how naive they are. Like I got the joke. I get the joke how like their whole dialogue works and they're just so like they're so naive, and even though they're full grown adults. And Disney finally read the writing on the wall, and people have been asking for almost 10 years already. They want a Loki movie. But they pulled it off with the show because it's like slow burning. I mean, Loki has power, but you don't want to see Loki use his powers. You want to see Loki outsmart everyone. Because he's twice as logical, he's twice as intelligent, twice as cunning. Like, you want to see him outwit people, you know? And in the show of Loki, he has these variants. He has like these it's like the same Loki but from a different dimension, and they're all different shapes and sizes and races and ages and stuff. And finally Loki came across a variant that's a female. It's basically like his twin sister. And it's amazing to watch that. Like, it's not like all in your face. It's kind of woke, but not really. It doesn't offend me. And just everything about these two is just freaking epic. Especially when they finally like have to work together. So out of all of their strengths and weaknesses, it's going to be like Sylvie, his female variant. Her downfall is that she's this really needy woman. And I could see why that happened, but you could tell like Disney's going to drag this thing on for at least like 4 or 5 seasons because they have nothing else successful right now. And Sylvie, like I said, Sylvie's needy, And I guess I could break that down for you. I mean, they haven't even spent a week together, but she's so freaking needy that she's already emotionally attached to Loki after like 2 or 3 days. And honestly, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, Loki is a Sigma male. Loki is a Sigma male. He's like, he just is. And of course, like, Sylvie's backstory is that she's always been on the run. She was like one of the rare people that escaped the TVA. She escaped justice. So she's always been on the run. And she said to Loki she's only ever had like one boyfriend and it doesn't really matter to her. It was a post office worker. And it sounds like she's just making it up anyways. It doesn't sound legit. It doesn't, you're not really convinced when she says that story. And then, to me, that was so freaking epic when Loki he found himself in that weird, what do you want to call it? A freaking purgatory, whatever it was. And there was like 4 or 5 other Lokis waiting for him there. And, the Loki alligator. That's so freaking cute, it's not even funny. Because in Norse mythology, Loki turns himself into animals. So you see an alligator, and he's wearing the Loki horns. Like, it's freaking adorable, man. You can't get over that. That was the coolest thing ever. But if you notice later on in the episode, like, whenever Loki and Sylvie, they finally started really like warming up to each other, and he manifests like that blanket to cover himself. Then she kind of gets a little bit more closer, and he manifests the blanket to drape around her too, so that way she could keep warm too. But pay very close attention, I swear, dude, because this is how like Sigma males date. Sigma males, it's like this mental game of chess. Every move is like all cold and calculated. And a lot of you guys have never seen this, but I've seen this in real life. Like, if you notice, she gives Loki permission. He's like, why don't you change my outfit? But the way she said it was like, I've seen this in real life where a girl, she wasn't asking me like, hey, what looks cuter, this shirt or that shirt? She's like so submissive that she said, she's asking me like, what ensemble would she wear to where like I'm happy? And that's what Sylvie was asking Loki. She's being submissive to him. She is. I actually liked Sylvie's ensemble, that big green cape with the broken horn. That was epic. That was just freaking epic. And but here's where you really got to pay attention to that what they were doing. This is what needy women do. You ask a needy woman basically like, what are the plans for like next week or next month or whatever? Loki's asking her out, especially like if they make it off of that purgatory thing. When you ask a needy woman for anything like that, she's always going to play dumb the way Sylvie does. Bro, to me, it was so epic that they came up with this weird plan. It was freaking gangster, man, I swear. Sylvie was going to ride or die for Loki. if that's what it took for them to get off that freaking purgatory. And sure enough, like, they take each other's hand, and neither one of them let go of the other, and they achieve the goal. Now they made it to Kang's house, to like Kang's castle, his lair, or whatever it is. When they got to Kang's front doorstep, what does Sylvie tell Loki? She looks at Loki. She's like, come on, man, dog me out. Come on, man, dominate me. Loki, the way he pulls back, you know what I mean? It's just, it's remarkable, man. And, eventually they go to Kang's, and like I said, I mean, needy women will self-sabotage any relationship, which she does in this case. But seeing how, like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to really look at in that scene, because, I mean, clearly that's Loki's twin sister. It's his variant, but I mean, it's pretty much his twin sister. And they do like that open mouth kiss, and then she self-sabotages the whole freaking relationship, even though he's basically saying, like, they should go start a family if they survive all this. And it left us all in a cliffhanger. The way the season finale ended, there was a lot of unanswered questions, and now we're on season 2. Season 2, episode 2. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but like, just like always, whenever Sylvie's not around, clearly Loki's all like in love with her and talks about her like he needs her around. And Sylvie does the same thing. When Loki's not around, clearly Sylvie's all in love with him and just like, where is he? And when they asked Sylvie that thing about like they were gonna put her like in that time loop thing, and she said she's only got one happy memory, basically when her and Loki started getting along. And sure enough, through all that stupid stuff that Loki had to do just to go find Sylvie again, and she's in the 1982. She's in the year 1982, and she's like in some middle of nowhere town, and she's working at McDonald's. And of course, like, it triggered her. She's got like 1,000 different emotions going through her. And he's like, all right, I'll talk to you for 5 minutes. This is like my cigarette break. Let's just go outside and I'll give you 5 minutes worth of time. And of course, they always have like the body language of like a serious relationship, even though they're not. And Morbius and that other guy, they're just laughing, and look at them two go at it. Look at them two go at it, and just arguing out in the parking lot. And Morbius is just like, that's none of my business. And so Sylvie ghosted Loki as if that was going to even work or do anything at all. She's still like all emotionally attached to him. And then by the end of the episode, what's Sylvie doing after she doomed everybody, all humanity and everything? She's just sitting on top of that pickup truck, all in denial about how in love she is with Loki. And she's just in denial about it because, you know why? Because a needy woman is never happy until she's truly miserable. She could have just as easily told Loki, let's make amends, let's do something. She's never going to do that. That's what it's like in real life, man. If you talk to a needy woman, she'll get attached like in 2 or 3 days tops, maybe the first day. And if you spend any time talking to a needy woman, it's just a big waste of time. You're just chasing your own tail. Needy women don't want to be in a relationship, just like Sylvie. She's just there to waste time and freaking lead you on and just play goofy games with you. I'm just giving you a warning, man. These are my red pills. I'm telling you, I've seen a lot of crazy things like this. Needy women say, a needy woman will say she don't need a man. Those are the neediest women of them all. Let's see. Needy women, like, call themselves ugly. There's a lot of like different red flags to tell if a woman's needy or not. But just don't even sweat it, man. Just as soon as you realize she's needy, stop caring. Just move on. Just it's nothing. Nothing happened. Forget about it. Okay? I assure you, it's like I assure you she's just wasting your time. Nothing good will come out of it. Okay? And that's all you're gonna get. It's basically everything that Sylvie does, that's how a needy woman is. Okay? All right, I hope you enjoyed. I don't think I have anything else to say.